My name is Comfort Asokoro Ogaji of Richflood International, International Limited, and I work as a partner consultant at Richflood in the Nigeria office. What to do, either to do an environmental audit or to do an environmental impact assessment based on the laws of Nigeria. So the requests have been matched by email and by phone calls, and I thought to do this webinar so that we can easily refer our clients to this webinar. And I can see some of you are here invited, which is good. Thank you for coming on this webinar. So if you have questions, you can start putting them down while I just go through this 5 to 10 minutes webinar. So environmental impact assessment or environmental audit in Nigeria, which should I go for? Now, the Environmental Impact Assessment Act in Nigeria have made provisions or have answered this question that environmental impact assessment is done for proposed projects. It's done for proposed projects, not for projects that have been executed halfway. Why is it so? Because during environmental impact assessment, we got to gather some baseline environmental information to show that, to give some guide as to the condition of the environment before you started your operation or before you clear the vegetation or before you started your project and there is influx of people and social issues begin to crop up, and create some stress on for instance, health facilities in the community. So the essence of environmental impact assessment is to get the baseline condition of the environment and the people before the commencement of the project. Before the commencement of the project. The act said prior to the commencement of the project. So the answer to the question is that you do environmental impact assessment before the commencement of the project. So I just want to read for you here the definition of environmental impact assessment as provided in S13 paragraph 1 of the Environmental Impact Assessment Act. It says environmental impact assessment may be defined as the process appraising the likely adverse effects of a given human activity on the environment. This effect may be on any or all of the dimensions of the environment, such as the physical, the biological, the social, or the aesthetic environment. Okay, so this is the definition of environmental impact assessment as provided by the law. So it's basically to appraise the likely effects of your activity, what you are likely to undertake, what are the project activities, and what are the impacts of the project activity on the environment, on the people, on the aesthetic beauty of the environment. How is it going to impact on the environment? This is the whole essence of environmental impact assessment. And in the process, like I said earlier, you got to gather environmental baseline condition. What is the biodiversity status of the environment? What is the air quality status of the environment? What are the health facilities in the environment, and how has it captured the needs of the people or has not captured? And how is it going to impact on, how is your project going to impact on these facilities in the community? So all of this is captured in the environmental impact assessment process. However, if you have commenced operation, maybe newly commenced, let me take the mind would want to conduct some exploratory works and may not consider for conducting environmental impact assessment. So there is the provision in this document which have already highlighted what should happen during the exploration period. This is the Nigerian Minerals and Mining Act 2007 from the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development of Nigeria. So this act makes provision of how the environment should be handled or taken care of during exploration period. But the norm right now in Nigeria is that most explorationists wouldn't want to conduct an environmental impact assessment because of the cost, because of the length of time it takes to get completed. So they kind of skip this procedure. It's not absolutely correct, but this is usually the case in Nigeria. So what we will advise is that while exploration procedures are going on, environmental impact assessment should also be going on. If the explorationist or the miner cannot wait to conduct or to conclude the environmental impact assessment before commencing the exploration operations, because exploration operations of the environment can be captured before you make some progress in terms of tampering with the environment. It will really be a good plus. It will be a good plus for the environment. So I will also read this paragraph that says the purpose of environmental impact assessment is that after the likely effects of a given activity on the environment came to eliminate or at least minimize such impact on the environment. So this brings me to environmental auditing. When environmental impact assessment is done before the commencement of the project, it means that the impact that the project is going to have on the environment have been captured and documented. So upon commencement of the project, during construction phase, there is the auditing that has to be done in order to check if mitigation measures provided in the environmental impact assessment have been captured, have been implemented during the operational phase, construction phase of the project. So that brings me to environmental audit. It's like financial auditing also, to check how well your organization is doing, the same way to check how well the project is doing as it relates to environmental performance. So environmental auditing is done 2 years after project commencement, every 2 years after project commencement. In some cases, every 3 years after project commencement. So, but after construction commencement, once you start construction, because all the phases of the project have been captured during the baseline data gathering. So when you commence operation and you're beginning to clear the vegetation, the formats by which the vegetation is being cleared is already provided in your mitigation measures in the document, in the environmental and social management plan. So the environmental and social management plan is a guide. We took a module on that, a very detailed description of ESMP, environmental and social management plan. So the environmental and social management plan helps you to be able to check what's to be done at every stage of your project. What is to be done, operational stages of the project to the decommissioning stages, how the project is going to be decommissioned. Throughout the life cycle of the project, provisions have been made in the environmental and social management plan on how the environmental considerations should be put in place during these processes. So environmental audit is done every 2 years after a project is started, or every 3 years, while environmental impact assessment is done before commencement of the project. I can see a question here saying that, what is post-impact assessment? That's what you're trying to say, Abdul. That's what you're trying to say. Post-impact assessment is an assessment done when a project has commenced. Just like I explained earlier, that during exploration, that you can get started with your environmental impact assessment. But if you do not, and you have conducted your exploration, and in fact, you have moved in your equipment to site, you have cleared the vegetation, and you have virtually tampered with the environment in a large scale, then a post-impact assessment, according to the Nigerian administrative procedure, is recommended. That could also capture some baseline information, at least whatever is left can be captured during the process. I hope that question is answered. Somebody is saying that why is there conflicts between Ministry of Environment and NESRIA on environmental audits? Well, I would not be in the position to answer these because I don't work for government. I don't work for the Federal Ministry of Environment that you mentioned, and I don't work for NESRIA. But you can visit their offices to get clarification on that. But what I can say is that there is the NESRA Act establishing NESRA to conduct auditing, and also there is the Environmental Auditing Department at the Federal Ministry of Environment. So perhaps there is an overlap. It depends. So, but what we do at Richflood is that we look at your project at the compliance level. There are some filings that we do for our facilities to NESRIA, and there are some filings that we do for some projects to the Federal Ministry of Environment as regards auditing. So it depends on a lot of parameters or a lot of factors that we'll not be able to explain here. But you can send an email to me directly, comfort@richflood.com. You can send an email to comfort@richflood.com. I'll be able to do more explanation possibly, or you can call me, and or you visit our office at 54 Lobito Crescent in Wuse 2 of Abuja, and we will be able to listen to you and do the needful. Okay, so I will not be able to take the other questions. You can just send it to my email, comfort@richflood.com. comfort@richflood.com. That will help. I can deal with those cases. So I hope this is very useful. Please conduct your environmental impact assessment before commencement of your project. That's the right time. That's the right time at the planning stage. At the planning stage, that's the right time to conduct to commence your environmental impact assessment, because it lasts for almost a year to get completed with the administrative procedures. So, and then every 2 years or every 3 years of your project, you conduct environmental auditing. So thank you, and thank you for joining at this time.